Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Happy Catty Crypto here. So, as you know, building up this site as always, folks. So, like I always say, if you want to get put on here, just reach out, we'll get you put on there. So now let's move forward to the proposal in question. I switched my theme to whale, but I'm going to switch it back to madness because it's easier for my eyes to perceive for some reason. So, how is this vote going? Well, these votes last for 7 days. The past proposals compared to this one have been slow. This thing's already at 21.22%. That's huge. That's 56% to yes and 43% are abstaining. Now, abstaining means that they're just stepping back and going, right, well, we don't really want to cast our vote right now, but we might change it before the end of the proposal. But pretty much ultimately saying they're unsure. A lot of these people that are abstaining at the moment are allowing their communities to vote instead. And then once their communities have cast the vote, whether to yes, abstain, no, or no with veto, they will cast that vote accordingly. So don't worry about too much about these people that have abstained at the moment, because normally they have to go through their internal voting process. This would be something that's similar if the let it burn, no, not if, when the Let It Burn channel becomes a validator, we would then have to vote internally and then come back, and we'd probably abstain until that point, just so people know that we've acknowledged it and you just need to pretty much wait for our response. Sorry about tapping the boon there, folks. So, like I said, it's got 6 days left and the quorum's 40%. We're at 21.22%, so we're pretty much over 50% there. We're like 51% there. And we've got 6 days left. This, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, it could all go up in the air and a meteor could crash into Terra Station or something like that. Or the Pope might just come out and say something crazy. And it all could just go, like I said, up in the air. But as it's looking from my standpoint, following all of these proposals from the start, supporting all of these kind of proposals, this looks like it's going to pass. Now, what do we know about the validator situation? Well, what we do know is that Zada has stated that they think 40% of the validators are on board, but it was yet to be seen if they would vote. Now, we're already getting 56.73% yes. So that kind of proves what he's been saying. Now, what else do we know? Well, we know Ed has had confirmation from Will Shen that TFL are not going to be getting involved. They're pretty much in like a kind of financial limbo system themselves, and they only really care about their new chain. They've already stated in their own tweets that anyone with the correct understanding can run the Classic chain, and they urge validators to accept the software update. And we're going to be doing a video on that, breaking down those tweets and really getting that out there to you folks to show that the torch has been passed. It's not... Everybody's worked so hard to get to where we are. There's been no one person who's been single-handedly doing this. It's been so many people, and yes, me and Vegas were there at the beginning and we'll always be there throughout, but there's just so many people across the board, other than Zada, other than Vegas, myself, Raider, loads of people. There's just so many people involved with Terra Rebels. I mean, there's 18 developers online currently. And you can go in, you can see this. You've got people like A.E who put this proposal up. Now, you can go to the Agora text for this proposal, and it really does have a really good breakdown. Now, this proposal itself, if you don't know this, gives TFL 10 days to respond. That's 10 days from when the proposal passes, if it passes. And from my opinion, from my standpoint, we are going to pass this proposal. So what does this do? This proposal follows the exact correct route that should be followed in any kind of situation like this. And this is kind of like Terra Rebels saying to TFL, this is your final opportunity to just implement it onto the current code base, update to V21 themselves, and then offer that to the validators. And it would pretty much be like, in my opinion, Daddy says it's okay. Because it's come from TFL. daddy says it's okay. That's kind of the idea behind it, and it shouldn't be like that, and it won't be like that because of the amount that we've got on board. And it is horrible to say this, and I'm gonna say it because ultimately we need to make sure we know who is drilling holes in the boat after we get the governance back online, and make sure we look at all of the people that didn't vote or voted no or was moving against the movement and things like that, because ultimately these people want us to stay in limbo. Who wants to stay in the place where we're restricted from staking our coins? I mean, Luna 2 are able to stake their coins. They have a governance. You're not allowed to join their validators and become a new validator. Why shouldn't we? Why should we be shunned for that? If we have people in place to fix it, allow them to fix it. It's not a takeover. They're like guardian angels, maintainers, checkers of welfare, you know, people who look after the network itself. And remember, not one of these people have profited at any point. No one's been paid. I haven't even been paid myself from my channels, and I still won't get paid because, I mean, 3 months. On top of that, I don't even think I'm going to earn any money from YouTube whatsoever this year. So, because it all has to go towards running the node and things like that. So we all really are making huge sacrifices to be here. I mean, my life revolves around this community and I absolutely love it. There's not one morning where I don't wake up and I'm like, right, come on, let's get back on the horse. Let's get out there. Let's speak to people. Let's connect people. Let's get everybody talking about Luna Classic, because when you go down to what do people like? Cheap fees. I love cheap fees. Who wants to pay £40 or $40 to move $60? No one. When I moved 8 million Luna Classic from crypto.com to my Terra station, it cost me 2 Luna Classic coins. 2 Luna Classic coins. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it because I've always dealt with coins like SHIB, because I got roped into this whole BS theory of how we're going to burn so many coins, and ultimately the devs themselves are not doing anything, whereas the devs here at Luna Classic, they're implementing something the community wants, which is a 1.2% burn tax. So why can't their devs implement something like that? Why can't their community vote on that? And this kind of goes back to, well, if we've got it, why can't they have it? And then it's the same as we look at TFL with Luna 2. Well, if they've got staking, why can't we have staking? And it's kind of this whole, you can't shun one and give it to the other, and you can't give it to the other and shun the other person. And yeah, I think you catch the drift. But ultimately, this proposal is going amazingly, in my opinion. 4159 text proposal is going to pass. Remember, folks, it's a text proposal. This all has to be done manually. Nothing is automatically implemented from this proposal. Folks, stay safe, okay? Beware of scammers, beware of doppelgangers. If you're not subscribed here, consider subscribing, consider supporting our channels, consider supporting us grow up until that point of where we can burn as much Luna Classic as LUNCDAO does, and probably a lot more, because we'll be solely dedicated to only using those rewards for that. We'll have a treasury, we'll have cool things like that, and we will definitely have a say in future proposals and governance and things like that, because we would be an active validator with voting power. Folks, stay safe. Catch you in the next one. Not financial advice. Shalom.